Many times we think or act behind the idea that every child has access to the most essential resources needed to achieve a successful development, or, at the very least, a healthy diet. Unfortunately, that isn't always the case, and changes are fewer if we set our sights beyond and take into consideration the global situation. Every year, malnutrition has been reaching higher and higher levels, nationwide and worldwide. For instance, according to UNICEF, in the Global South, almost 200 million of children under 5 years of age suffer from chronic malnutrition. Few of the causes of malnutrition are being reflected in Juan's case. He is an 18-month baby which has been living in the rural area of Bolivar, Colombia. He's been living under circumstances where his family has no economic sustainability, a household where there is no access to clean water or any other public service. Juan lives with his mother, a 17-year-old, his two little aunts, and his grandmother, who is the head of the household and the only one who generates incomes through informal jobs. That's why the purchase of a variety of foods and therefore the obtaining of a good diet is hindered by his lack of stable economy. During his first 6 months, Juan was unable to receive an adequate breast milk due to the difficulties that his mother had feeding herself and producing the milk she needed. One day, Juan was taken to the medical center. He was constantly getting sick. He had fever, shortness of breath, diarrhea, and looked too pale. When he was going through the medical checkup, the doctors reported that Juan had high risk of presenting a case of acute malnutrition, so the necessary measures should be taken if they didn't want to hospitalize him. Just as the case of Juan, there are many other children who are at risk of presenting cases of acute malnutrition, and there have also been many others who have presented severe symptoms of malnutrition and have been hospitalized or under various treatments. Due to this growing problematic, which affects the development of countries, it is important for us to know what actions have been taken or how governments have responded. So, what actions have been taken? Well, we've seen that nations all over the world have developed multiple strategies. For instance, let me show you this. This is Mario. He's a 2-year-old toddler who lives in a low-income sector and in a similar context to Juan's case. Over the last few months, he's been taking a therapeutic formula spread by his mother in his meals in order to complement his diet. However, despite being on a preventing treatment, Mario still struggles with chronic malnutrition. It is important to mention that this formula is developed by UNICEF, and in Colombia it is provided or distributed by the National ABC Program of Acute Malnutrition for Vulnerable Communities. The issue with these therapeutic formulas is that they have a strong bitter taste that is not very pleasant, not only for Mario but for many children's taste. The strong and bitter flavor makes their lack of appetite stronger, generates less desire to eat, and therefore a high is difficult to overcome their cases of malnutrition. Without any doubt, it has become a strategy with a counterproductive effect. Faced with this situation and in response to these problems, Nuappi was born. And what makes Nuappi different from other solutions? Nuappi is a nutritional complement, which combines biotechnologies of percutaneous absorption with theories of attachment and the safety based on child development, all with the purpose of mitigating the malnutrition of children in vulnerable communities. To achieve this, Nuappi understands that an optimum growth and early childhood development is not given just by physical factors encompassed by biotechnologies, but also by the relationship with the caregivers and the affection received by children, because they are essential components for their development. Nuappi's value proposition lies in the union of biotechnologies and theories of child development in search of fighting acute malnutrition. In first place, the application of percutaneous absorption biotechnology, liposomes and hydrogels, will allow Nuappi to act in a more efficient and friendly way, and also it will allow the child to obtain macro and micronutrients that he needs. On the other hand, the applications of theories of childhood development will give Nuappi the possibility of recognizing and enhancing the relationship between the child and his caregiver as one of the bases of well-being. With these two elements combined, we'll be able to create the space to strengthen the child's safety and, at the same time, his nutrition. So, how's the product? Nuappi is a hybrid product designed so that the caregiver can contribute to the nutrition of the child while caring him and provides comfort and affection. It is intended for children between 0 and 2 and has 2 ports, the application device and Nuappi doses. Also, it is necessary to mention that the mixture of macro and micronutrients provided in Nuappi is based on the composition of therapeutic formulas approved and established by UNICEF. How is it implemented and how does it work? To understand how it works and what the implementation scheme is, let's just return to the case of Juan, who would enter to the first phase, detection. As we told you before, he was taken to the medical attention center of his region, where the health professional made a diagnosis and informed his mother of the risk he had of falling into a case of malnutrition. Due to this situation and to avoid Juan's case from getting worse, the nutritionist decided to formulate Nuappi. This is where the intervention phase begins, so the health staff explains to Juan's mother how Nuappi works and how to apply it. So, let's go down further on an explanation of how to use Nuappi. The first thing that must be emphasized is that the application is carried out when the child is semi-naked, such as bath time, because the product must make direct contact with the skin. At first, the caregiver takes out a dose of Nuappi and unwraps it or decapsulates it. Then, they insert the dose into the pocket provided for this in the application device. And last but not least, the caregiver picks up the child and plugs him into the Nuappi device. It is important for the caregiver to hug the child at the same time of the application because this enables and ensures a better contact between the dose surface and the child's skin. After applying all doses provided by health professional, we enter in the verification phase. Juan's mother must return to a new consultation to follow Juan's development and nutrition process, where, if it is the case, the supply of Nuappi will be suspended as recommended by the nutritionist. Although the process with the nutritional supplement ends, Nuappi can continue accompanying Juan until the age of 2 years as a care object and thus continue to strengthen this emotional bond. Now, understanding the Nuappi's implementation mode, let's mention its impacts. And how does it affect the environment? Nuappi's biotechnology generates less waste, thanks to the fact that they are made of fully biodegradable materials. For instance, the hydrogel consists of chitosan, a polysaccharide of natural origin, which takes us a few months to break down into the environment. Furthermore, the liposome solution is absorbed entirely by the baby's skin, to later be degraded and assimilated by metabolic processes of its body. As for the other components, Nuappi seeks to reduce the environmental impact, proposing that the textile and waterproof material can be reusable and have a longer lifespan of around 2 years or more. And what are the advantages and economic impact? The first aspect and direct advantage in terms of economic benefits compared with the therapeutic formulas strategy is that Nuappi through percutaneous absorption does not affect the child's appetite, avoiding a counterproductive effect that generates higher expenses and less efficiency as in Maria's case. On the other hand, we recognize the importance and profitability of investing in early childhood. As mentioned by James Heckman, Nobel Prize in Economics, for every dollar invested in early childhood, there is a rate of return and savings between $7 and $21 for society in the future. This is due to the fact that according to the World Health Organization and the Ibero-American Development Bank, it is more profitable to invest in prevention and not in care. the state can spend more than the double of their resources on treatment for children admitted to a hospital due to malnutrition, unlike prevention treatments that can be carried out at home. In addition, this treatment at home can be more efficient since it involves the caregiver and the close circle, generating more support so that the child does not present a picture of malnutrition again. Another very important long-term result is the construction of citizens with greater opportunities and higher performance, which will have a notable impact on the future economy and development of the country. It is here where Nuappi supports notions like the one mentioned by the former President John Kennedy. Children are the most important resource in the world and the best hope for the future. That's why Nuappi knows that providing better nutrition and strengthening the child's relationship with his caregivers, we will be building greater opportunities for that child in the future.
And what are Nuappi's concerns? Few of the main concerns of Nuappi are the possible consequences or unwanted interactions that can be carried out with the product. One of the main ones is what happens if the recommended dose of the product is exceeded? This fact would affect the effectiveness of nutrition and could even cause cases of vitaminosis, diseases due to the excess of vitamins such as jaundice or others. That is why in Nuappi we take the greatest care in the dosage of the product recommended by professionals, depending on the condition of the child. Another possible concern is linked to the sensitivity and hypersensitivity that could be generated in the child's skin. In this case, the caregiver is assured of monthly monitoring by health professionals on how the product is affecting the skin and the advancement of Nuappi's complementary nutrition in the health of the child. Additionally, with the use of the biotechnology with hydrogels, we avoid the maximum possible irritation on the delicate surface of the skin. And last but not least, so what's next? Firstly, one of the most relevant aspects of the production of Nuappi is understanding the environment, the relationships and practices in which the children we want to benefit develop. That's why it is necessary to carry out research and field mapping. Secondly, to adapt the Nuappi's applications product, it is necessary to understand the care practices that parents or caregivers have in their context with children in order to adapt the device to their needs. And finally, the first step is to understand and adapt Nuappi to the resources available in the context that we want to intervene in order to achieve greater efficiency. We invite you to know Nuappi. We're more than nutrition. Nuappi, it's care, safety, and comfort for them.